Welcome to our deep dive.
Hmm.
Today we'll be exploring the extraordinary life of Paramahansa Yogananda.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, when you first sent in his autobiography, I have to admit I was pretty intimidated by it.
Yeah.
A bit overwhelming at first.
Right.
But let me tell you, this book is anything but dry.
Oh, no, no.
I mean, we're talking
Yeah.
levitating saints, gurus, materializing objects, even trips to astral planets.
It's really incredible.
It's wild.
Yeah, and it's much more than just a fascinating read, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Yogananda's autobiography is actually considered to be this bridge between Eastern and Western spiritual thought,
Right.
a text that really resonates even today.
Yeah, for sure. So where do we even begin with all this?
Mm.
I think going back to Yogananda's childhood in India seems like a good place to start.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't exactly your average kid, was he?
No, not at all. Imagine being born in Gorakhpur, India in the late 1800s.
Right.
A time when spirituality was just so deeply woven into everyday life. And Yogananda grew up in this very devout family, you know, where seeking spiritual enlightenment wasn't just something you did on the weekends.
Yeah.
It was central to their existence.
Absolutely. And it sounds like Yogananda really took that to heart.
He did.
I mean, even as a young boy, he was actively seeking out saints and yogis,
Yes.
driven by this intense desire to experience God firsthand.
He was a very deep yearning, yeah.
Yeah, not just reading about it.
Oh, no.
He was out there actually having encounters that would shape his entire path.
Absolutely. Like, for instance, the time he met the perfume saint.
Okay, wait. The perfume saint
Yes.
who gave his mother a silver amulet. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This book is packed with these unbelievable stories. Like,
Yeah.
how is this possible?
Right. And what's even more fascinating is that this perfume saint actually predicted that the amulet would disappear.
Oh, wow.
And it did. You know, it makes you wonder if these events were truly supernatural or just glimpses into some deeper reality that we're just starting to kind of understand.
Right? It really makes you question things.
It does.
So after these early experiences, Yogananda's search for a true guru became a major focus in his life.
Yes.
It even led him to try to run away to the Himalayas.
Yes, he
To
did.
find this guru.
That yearning, though, for a guru wasn't just some youthful whim.
Right.
It speaks to a very deep human desire for guidance on the spiritual path. Something that maybe you even can relate to in your own life, right? This longing to find someone who can just illuminate the way forward.
Absolutely. I think we all have those moments where we wish we had a wise mentor to guide us.
Yeah.
And for Yogananda, finding his guru, Sri Yukteswar, it wasn't just about having a teacher.
Right.
It was about stepping into this world where the seemingly impossible became possible.
Exactly. And you see this really clearly in the story of Sri Yukteswar appearing before Yogananda's friend Dijin.
Okay, yeah.
So Yogananda sensed his friend's skepticism and wanted to prove his guru's power. And Sri Yukteswar basically materialized right in front of Dijin, who had been watching him the whole time.
Wow, it's like something straight out of a movie.
I know, right?
And that must have been a serious turning point for Dijin to actually see that happen.
Oh, yeah.
But beyond the wow factor, what's the deeper significance here?
Well, think about it. This incident really speaks to the power of intuition.
Yeah.
You know, the ability to perceive beyond our normal senses.
Right.
It hints at this potential to transcend the limitations of time and space concepts that modern science is only beginning to even grapple with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So we have these incredible stories.
Yes.
But what about the actual teachings? You know,
Yeah.
it was through Sri Yukteswar that Yogananda learned Kriya Yoga, right?
Yes.
A technique said to really accelerate spiritual growth.
That's right. Kriya Yoga at its core is a path to self-realization, to realizing your true nature as one with the divine, and it involves these specific breathing techniques, meditation, and ethical practices that are all designed to quiet the mind and awaken your inner potential. It's a journey of going beyond just the surface level of existence to connect with something much deeper.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people are searching for these days.
For sure.
That sense of connection, of purpose.
Absolutely.
And Yogananda's story, with all its twists and turns, offers this really compelling example of what might be possible.
I think so too. And, you know, he didn't shy away from the difficult questions,
Right.
exploring the mysteries of life and death.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his autobiography so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It challenges us to think beyond our limited perceptions and consider the vastness of what we might be capable of.
And we're just getting started.
I know.
I'm already captivated by these early chapters.
Yeah.
And I'm really eager to dive deeper into Yogananda's world.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a journey that takes us beyond just the everyday,
Right.
into this realm of almost like extraordinary individuals like the Tiger Swami.
The Tiger Swami.
And you might be thinking Tiger Swami, really. But this man's story is just a fascinating example of spiritual transformation.
I mean, from wrestling tigers with his bare hands to conquering his inner demons through yoga and meditation, that's quite a leap.
It is.
You know, what really struck me was the way that Yogananda described the Tiger Swami's inner strength.
Yes.
It was like this quiet power that radiated from him.
Yeah, he went from this life of, physical prowess to one of deep inner peace.
Right.
It just goes to show that true strength doesn't always lie in brute force, but in mastering yourself.
Yeah.
Something I think we can all strive for, right?
Definitely. And then there's the levitating saint who literally defied gravity.
I know.
I mean, imagine witnessing someone float in the air during meditation.
I can't even imagine.
It challenges everything we think we know about the physical world.
It really does. These stories might seem far-fetched at first,
Yeah.
but when you view them through the lens of yogic philosophy, they become less about magic and more about the potential of human consciousness. The control of prana, or life force, is really central to this idea.
Right.
It suggests that with practice and focused intention, we can tap into this power within ourselves. That can even influence our physical reality.
Like how Lahiri Mahasaya, Sri Yukteswar's guru, was said to have healed a dying man just by affirming the power of faith.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder, what if the limitations we perceive are more self-imposed than actual limitations?
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
And it really ties in with Yogananda's own experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi,
Right.
which is a state of complete absorption in the divine where the boundaries of self just dissolve.
Yeah.
And you experience pure bliss and expansive awareness.
Reading about that state, it almost felt like a glimpse into this completely different dimension of existence.
I know.
But it wasn't all just about mystical experiences.
Right.
Yogananda was also really fascinated by the intersection of science and spirituality.
Yes, he was.
His encounters with the Indian scientist Jagadish Chandra Bose highlight this beautifully.
They do. Bose was a pioneer in his own right, known for his research on plant consciousness, using this device called the crescograph. His work really challenged the prevailing view that plants were simply passive organisms.
Right.
Demonstrating that they respond to stimuli and experience a form of awareness.
It wasn't just a scientific curiosity for Yogananda either.
It wasn't.
He saw this clear connection between Bose's findings and the yogic understanding of the interconnectedness of all life.
Absolutely. It's as if they were approaching the same truth, but from these different perspectives.
Yeah.
Bose through scientific experimentation and Yogananda through this deep inner exploration, both pointing to a reality where separation is an illusion.
It's incredible how these ideas resonate even more strongly today.
Yeah.
As modern science continues to discover all these subtle ways that we're connected to everything around us.
It's true. And speaking of connections, Yogananda didn't limit himself to just the scientific community.
Right.
He also connected with individuals like Luther Burbank,
Okay.
the famous horticulturist.
Yeah. Luther Burbank, known for his incredible work in developing new plant varieties.
Yes.
Shared Yogananda's belief in the power of focused intention.
He believed that thoughts and intention could actually influence growth and change, not just in plants, but in every aspect of life.
This connection with Burbank is really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It suggests that the power of focused intention, is something that yogis have practiced for centuries, might have very practical applications in our everyday lives.
Right.
Could we, like Burbank, use this technique to enhance our own growth and development? It's definitely something to think about.
It certainly challenges us to consider the power of our own minds.
Yeah.
And maybe even experiment with using intention more consciously in our own lives,
Really
whether
cool.
it's in our creative endeavors, our relationships, or even our personal growth.
Okay, so we've explored Yogananda's early life, his spiritual awakening, and these incredible encounters with individuals who really push the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah.
But there's another chapter to this story, his journey to the West.
Yes, this was a pivotal moment, not just for Yogananda personally, but for the introduction of Eastern spirituality to the West.
Okay.
In 1920, he arrived in America,
Wow.
a land vastly different from his native India, and founded the Self-Realization Fellowship,
Right.
which was dedicated to teaching Kriya Yoga and the principles of balanced living.
I can only imagine the challenges he must have faced bridging those cultural and religious divides.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't easy.
But yet he persevered, establishing centers that continue to thrive to this day.
He did. It speaks to his courage and his unwavering commitment to sharing his teachings.
Absolutely.
You know, he didn't just set up shop and expect people to flock to him.
Right.
Yogananda became this sought-after speaker, traveling all across America, engaging with the diverse audiences and adapting his message to really connect with Western minds.
And amid all of this, there are these intriguing stories about objects appearing and disappearing that really highlight the mystical nature of his work.
Yes, like the silver cup gifted to Yogananda by Swami Vivekananda, another influential Indian teacher, which vanished and then reappeared years later, right on the 11th anniversary of the Self-Realization Fellowship.
Wow.
These seemingly impossible events, they really make us question our understanding of reality.
Yeah.
Are they miracles, or are they just glimpses into a dimension of existence that we haven't quite fully grasped yet?
Right.
What if our perception of time and space is far more fluid than we currently believe?
It's mind-boggling. And then there's the story of the Encinitas Hermitage.
Yes.
This beautiful retreat center overlooking the Pacific Ocean that Yogananda established.
It's gorgeous.
It became a place for him to meditate, write, and connect with nature.
Yes.
And for his disciples to come and immerse themselves in his teachings.
It really became a focal point for Yogananda's work in the West.
Yeah.
And it's still a place of pilgrimage for those seeking spiritual guidance and inspiration.
It's amazing to think how Yogananda's work has spread from these humble beginnings to reach millions of people around the world.
It really is.
But his autobiography doesn't just chronicle the outward growth of his mission,
Right.
It also delves into some pretty mind-bending territory, exploring themes of life after death and astral travel.
It does.
And he doesn't just touch on these concepts abstractly.
No.
Yogananda actually describes his experience of reuniting with his guru, Sri Yukteswar, after Sri Yukteswar's physical passing.
Yes, on an astral plane, no less.
This whole concept of meeting your guru on an astral plane after death,
I know.
it's pretty wild, right?
It is pretty wild.
What do you make of this, especially given all the different views on the afterlife that are out there?
Well, you know, it definitely challenges our conventional understanding of death.
Yeah.
But when you see it through the lens of yogic philosophy, it becomes more of an exploration of consciousness beyond the physical body. What I find really intriguing is how this aligns with near-death experiences that are reported across cultures, where people describe leaving their bodies and entering this realm of light and profound peace.
It makes you wonder if death, as we typically conceive of it, is less an ending and more of a transition to a different state of being.
It really does. And, you know, Sri Yukteswar didn't just offer this comforting vision of the afterlife either.
Right.
He shared some pretty profound insights with Yogananda.
Like what?
Well, he explained that those who reach that state of nirvikalpa samadhi, that state of complete absorption in the divine, can actually meet him in his resurrected astral form.
Wow, so they can still interact.
Yes. It's this powerful statement suggesting that achieving that state of consciousness allows us to transcend the limitations of the physical realm even after death.
That's a whole other level of spiritual attainment.
It is.
And, you know, it connects back to that question Yogananda often posed.
Oh, yeah.
Are we truly limited by what we can perceive with our five senses? Or is there this vast unseen universe waiting to be explored?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a question that has really captivated spiritual seekers throughout history.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Yogananda's autobiography, with its blend of personal experience, yogic philosophy, and scientific insights, really encourages us to consider the possibility of a reality that extends far beyond our current comprehension.
Absolutely. It's been an incredible journey exploring Yogananda's life and teachings.
It has.
His path was anything but ordinary.
No, it wasn't.
And his legacy continues to inspire millions around the world.
It does.
To seek a deeper connection with the divine and to live a life of purpose and meaning.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
This deep dive has left me with a sense of awe and wonder.
Yeah, me too.
But also a question I'd like to leave you with.
Okay.
If, as Yogananda suggests, we are all children of God with infinite potential, what steps can we take to awaken that divinity within ourselves?
It's a question worth contemplating, for sure.
Yeah, and, you know, as we navigate our own unique journeys, perhaps we can draw inspiration from Yogananda's life and teachings, exploring practices like meditation, and seeking guidance from those who have walked the path before us.
I think that's a great place to start.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the extraordinary world of Paramahansa Yogananda.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.